Yo, what's up you guys? It's Josh here. Welcome back to another vlog. Now in today's video, I'm going to talk about how to make decisions. So if you landed on this video, chances are there is a certain decision or a few decisions in your life that you're struggling to make. Maybe you're at a standstill, you don't know how to pivot, you don't know what to do. And my goal in today's video is to break down how to make a decision and get to the destination that you're looking to get to. So I actually have a few things written down here on my journal. This is basically how I make my decision-making process. Because the thing about decision-making is that sometimes not all of it is exactly logical. And that's the thing you have to kind of pedal back and forth with and find balance. You have to know when to lean into logic and you have to know when to lean into intuition. So to start off with, number one that I have on my list is reduce your information load. So what I mean by reducing your information load is reduce how much information comes into you. I know it sounds very contrary because you're probably thinking, well, I need all the information I can get to make the best decision possible. And yes, to a degree, you need a good baseline of information. But if you have too much information coming in, you'll get this information overload. And what that causes is it'll split your attention. So maybe, I don't know if you've felt this way before, but for me, it's certainly happened where there's one decision that I want to make. Let's just say in this path of entrepreneurship, like I want to be an entrepreneur. And then now I'm looking into entrepreneurship online. And then there's one guy telling you to do SMMA. There's another guy telling you to do real estate contracts. There's another guy telling you to do stocks and crypto. And then there's another guy telling you to do drop shipping. And then your attention is already split four ways and you don't know which one to take. So that is like one example that I've had of just like information overload. It just splits my attention. So you don't want your attention split because you want that energy harnessed into you want that energy harnessed as strong as possible into one thing. So that's one thing that information overload does. It can cause you to jump from one thing to another. That's another thing. So if you are that guy who's just getting into entrepreneurship, information overload can cause you to jump. So what I mean is, first you'll try SMMA, and then you'll cling on to that for maybe a few weeks, few months, and then you jump to another thing. Then you get into stocks and crypto, and then when that dies out, you go into drop shipping. So overall, you're just wasting your time because you're not accelerating in one thing. Like, it's important to be well-rounded, but in my opinion, if you want to be great at something, if you really want to accelerate in something, you don't want to jump. You want to just stay on one thing as much as possible. At least that's what I'm experiencing in my life. And information overload, it causes decision fatigue, right? When you're just overloaded with so much information, like if you are constantly on your Instagram feed, you're on the Explore and you're looking at so many different things. Same with your computer. If you're just watching a bunch of self-help videos and you're not implementing action or you're not narrowing down who you're listening to, it all ties together. Your attention is split. It'll make you jump. With all this, the bow tie on top is that decision fatigue. You don't know where to go, or you're having so much trouble taking time to make a decision. You just don't end up making a decision at all, and that gets you into that paralysis. So when it comes to anything important, when it comes to anything important, a decision that has more weight, reduce the information load that comes in. You want to quiet your mind and let your thoughts flow. Okay, so the second one that I have is also related to that, is just get rid of multitasking. Multitasking is another branch of information overload. The only difference is that you're taking multiple actions at the same time. So there's like really extreme levels to this of multitasking. One person that I listen to and learn from a lot is Sam Ovens, and he breaks it down into such a into such minuscule detail where he won't even eat and work at the same time. He'll focus on eating first and then going back to work, or he won't skip a song. Like when he's listening to something, he just won't skip it. He'll let it play from start to finish. He doesn't like jumping from one thing to another. He doesn't like, man, there's so many examples that I've heard from him, but he doesn't like, doing dishes while listening to podcasts or something like that. But the point that he's trying to get at is just like these little small details in your life. You want to get rid of the multitasking. And I can see why he came up with that mentality, and I've implemented it into my life. The first thing that I see about multitasking is that it kind of positions you into a worker mentality. Like I see it all the time, especially when I apply to jobs and stuff. It's always in the job description, multitasking skills needed. But the thing about multitasking is that, like I said, it splits your attention and focus. So it kind of prevents you from being stellar at one specific thing. And when you do multitask, it kind of takes away your ability to think clearly. And that is why, in my opinion, it puts you into that worker's mentality. It just lets you work. It lets you get things done, but you're not necessarily thinking. And in my opinion, that's a very big danger to your mindset. Okay. I also put here, like I said, it allows you to accelerate in one specific thing if you get rid of multitasking. When your attention is not divided and it's set on one thing, that one thing will grow and accelerate significantly. You'll have way more energy and more thought process to give that one idea. So what I've been trying to do, I know this sounds silly and I know it sounds super basic, but even when I'm working on the computer, I don't have multiple tabs open. I just keep one tab open and I work on one thing at a time. So before I would have like a YouTube video, like I'll have like a podcast while I'm working on like my Notion page, and then another tab I'll have like a notes list that I'm looking at, and it's just kind of causing my brain to hop from one thing to another. So the new thing that I've done for me is that whenever I'm on my computer and I'm doing work, I only have one tab open at a time. So if I'm on Notion, then I'm strictly on Notion. If I'm watching YouTube, it's blown up full screen. I'm not looking at the comments or the recommended videos on the side, and I'm just watching the video and I don't have anything else out. If I'm on my journal, the computer is off and I'm only on the journal. If I'm on my phone, everything else is off and I'm just on my phone. So I really recommend you to try doing this. Start out doing it small. You don't have to be so extreme to begin with, but lean into it. Getting rid of multitasking is such a game changer. It lets you make stronger decisions because you're only doing one at a time. I know it's very contrary to what the popular believe, but I think focusing on one thing at a time, there's more leverage in it. Okay. The third thing that I listed, I also learned this from Sam Ovens, is you have to let the universe scream at you. And what he meant by this is when you are thinking about making a decision, when you have a certain idea, slow down if you're able to, and think on it. Just let the thought simmer, let it kind of play out. And if you keep getting this feeling that you have to do it, like the world is just, it's constantly coming back to you, that's a way of the world telling you that you have to take action on that decision. When you sit on it and the thought keeps reoccurring, it keeps revisiting you, it keeps even bothering you, that's a way of the world kind of screaming at you, saying, hey, this decision is important. I think you have to take this action on it. So you have to let the universe scream at you. It's basically your intuition calling you to do whatever it is that you're thinking of doing. And this is a really great, what do you call it? it's a great way of filtering out when you have to make decisions where logic doesn't necessarily meet intuition. So for me, this was one example that I could give you is my decision to move to Miami on my own. So quick little story here. I'll try to keep it as short as possible. So when I was 19, I'm originally from Chicago suburbs. I had just got my real estate license at that time when I was 19. And I was just about to start out as a real estate agent. I was already shadowing my broker in open homes. I was already attending seminars at this brokerage I was at. And at the same time, while I was just getting started, I took a vacation to Miami and I fell absolutely in love with the environment. I saw the opportunity in it. I saw the lifestyle, the weather. Everything was checking off all the boxes. I loved the crazy. And this is where the intuition didn't necessarily line up with the logic, because logically, I didn't know anyone in Miami. I barely have any work experience. Like, I'm 19. Like, yes, I've had a car sales job. My communication is pretty good. I'd like to think I'm pretty smart. But at the same time, just the odds, logically, the odds were against me in Miami. And I just got my real estate license in Illinois. So which position would hypothetically give me more success? And that would be Illinois, because I lived with my mom, rent free, have a real estate license, actually have something to show for, have potential. Over here, there was nothing. And that's where I had to make a decision between logic and intuition. And in this decision, I chose intuition because it just kept coming back to me. I could not stop thinking about Miami. I was just thinking, well, I'm only 19 once. I could always get this real estate license back. But to move to Miami, it will not be the same if I were to move at 25, 30, 35. It just wouldn't be the same. And I felt like, well, this is the only point in time of my life where I can take risk and mess up and be okay with what happens. So I took the intuition kind of route, and I worked 2 mall jobs to start out. And then now I'm in the automotive industry. And that's basically that story. So you have to lean into you. This helps you determine if you want to lean into intuition or into logic. In my personal opinion, intuition wins every time. But you have to let the universe scream at you in order to make that decision. Number 4 that I have on this list is temporarily shut down or cool off. So when you're in times of pressure to make a decision, when it's like peak stress, there's so many moving parts, there's so many things going on, and you're getting to that point where it's like a decision fatigue, temporarily shut down or cool off. Step away from it, whatever situation that you're in. If you can, step away from it. Go on a walk without any phone or technology, if possible. Write your thoughts down. When I say go on a walk without any phone or any kind of technology, it's for the purpose of quieting your environment so your thoughts can get louder and clearer. That's the whole point. It helps you kind of clarify. Because if you have a bunch of things going on in the background, you're never going to get down to the root of your problems or your thought processes. And then write your thoughts down. This one is, I love doing this. I like creating like these little mind trees on my journal. So whenever I have so many things spiraling at the same time, I just write every single thing down and then I organize it. So that's another way I mentally just clarify things. Spend time in quiet. So this one ties in with the walking, but spend time in the quiet. Turn off the music, turn off the phone, turn off any kind of electronic, really. Spend time with where there's natural light if possible. If not, just a quiet environment where you can really let your thoughts flow and you can let things simmer. The last thing that I have, which I went over already, is just step back and let things flow, even if they're not good. So you're probably thinking, well, I don't necessarily want to shut down or cool off because if I slow down, all these negative things are going to creep up on me. And I guess you have to know when to pedal back and forth with that. There's like a balance to it. Because at the same time, you want to let the thoughts flow even if they're not good. Because there's also a possibility that there's something analytical about it. Maybe there's something that you can lean into and learn from with those negative thoughts. Because if there's some kind of pain point that you're experiencing in those thoughts, I think it's really worth entertaining those thoughts and thinking about them deeply. It can be a great benefit into your decision making process. You're not blinding yourself. Okay? And then the last thing that I have in this note is, how do you actually make quick decisions when you're required to? Because there's obviously times where you can't just sit and ponder on things and you have to act fast. So the things that I wrote was, one, lean towards intuition, which we talked about. If your gut is really telling you to do something, even it doesn't matter if the logic, in my opinion, just my personal opinion, even if the logic doesn't add up, if your intuition is calling for it, you do it. Like, this is exactly how I go about my life. Even if the logic is not there and my intuition is calling me to do it, I do it. And most of the time, I'm never wrong with my intuition. Most of the time. And also, when it comes to making this decision or taking action on it, right? It could be like an opportunistic standpoint. Think about what this action or not taking this action will cost you. Which one would cost more? Whether you make the decision or not, which one will cause more negative consequence? Which one will cost more? It doesn't matter if that's time, energy, whatever. It could cost you certain opportunity. So you have to think about the consequences. And then another thing that I ask myself is, whenever it comes to these quick decisions, I always ask myself, will I ever get this chance again to make this decision? Will I ever get this chance again? So, at least for me, when it came to making this decision in Miami, to move to Miami, I was asking myself the very same thing. Will I ever get this chance again? To be 19 years old and to move to Miami, to be this young and to experience what this city has to offer. And my answer was no. Being 19 in Miami will hit very different than being 30 and then moving to Miami. It will not be the same. And I have no regret in making that decision. Yes, I struggled way more. Financially, mentally, everything. But that's that character building, and that's that life experience that I was building. Which I don't want to get too deep into. It's not the purpose of this video. But that's basically what it came down to. Like, will I ever get this chance again? And the answer was no. So I decided to take it. Okay. And if this decision was irreversible, would I be okay with the possible outcomes? That's another thing that I ask myself too when it comes down to making these split-second decisions. Okay, we can't reverse this decision. Are we okay with the outcome? The possibility or the possible outcomes, sorry. Am I okay with this? So that's another thing that you should ask yourself when it comes to making these like split-second decisions. Am I okay with the possible outcomes if this can't be reversed? And I'm just going to keep using Miami as an example. I was very okay with it. Okay? If I'm stuck in Miami, what would the possibilities be? I'm stuck in a room that I'm renting. I have to work multiple jobs. You know, maybe I might have to do Uber or something. I don't know. Maybe I have to downgrade my apartment, get rid of my car. I'm okay. I'm okay with these outcomes because I need this weather. I need this city. I need to be able to see these buildings, these kinds of properties. I need palm trees in my life. It's just a mental thing. So yeah, I'm okay with with the possible outcomes of losing it all. No problem. I've already lost. I've came here with practically nothing. I had to get rid of my dream sports car when I came here. So yeah, I'm totally okay with the possible outcomes. And that's basically it, guys. That's everything that I have written down as far as how I make my decisions. And if I did miss anything, or if you recommend any kind of advice, please feel free to let me know. Let me know in the comments. But I hope you took away something from this video. I hope you found something useful from it that you can actually take action on in your life and guide you into making these decisions. So that's all I have for you guys today. Please feel free to message me if you have any questions on Instagram at itsjoshvalerin, or you could email me as well. And yeah, until then, I'll see you guys on the next video.